Hello, SNA fans. This is Super Ninja Austin here, back here with another wrestling news video, and this is the 100 and 110th episode of the SNA podcast, which I'm gonna be talking about the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors that you SNA fans need to know, and then this is my 33rd part 33rd wrestling news video, and we're going to be talking about the wildest wrestling news stories from Wrestling Inc. That's right. And we're going to start off with some wrestling news about, let's see. Ricochet's injury update from after last night's Raw Intercontinental Championship match, and it says right here, like Ricochet's injury update after WWE Raw Intercontinental Title #1 Contenders match. And it says right here, Gunther has now held the Intercontinental Championship for well over 500 days, having first won the title from Ricochet back in June of 2022. Last night's WWE Raw included a fatal four-way match. Dom, Dietermine, the next contender for Gunther, and the lineup featured the former Intercontinental Champion Ricochet, as well as the Miz, Bronson Reed, and even Ivar for the first time in a normal contenders match for a singles championship in WWE of the Viking Raiders. And like much of last night's show, there was plenty of action and excitement, which I already talked about that. Yeah, make sure you check that out from last night's video of the Monday Night Raw review. Like, it was nothing but excitement and entertainment. And show like this is what they should do is a mid-card match. And I'll say this was possibly the second match of the night, along with the World Heavyweight Championship match being the second match of the night. Because it was for the World Heavyweight Championship, it looked like it's on the Crown Jewel episode, and also I'll say the Intercontinental Championship showed like this is what we should see on every #1 contenders match. I mean, it don't have to be a fatal four-way match, but it has to be some kind of excitement and what's gonna ooze entertainment, and thrive off of it. Not not like a lackluster match that's gonna have some kind of a finish that's something that fans do not want to see. But anyways, we're going to talk about it. Like much as last night, there's plenty of excitement. However, not all was well coming out of the match with Ricochet's reportedly hurt. And it says, on today's Wrestling Observer News Radio, had host Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez discussing the situation. Alvarez stated that Ricochet Ricochet was in WWE's concussion protocol and meaning he must get cleared by a doctor before being able to return in the ring. Like, depending on the variety of the injury that could take days, weeks, or even possibly months. One spot rel- rel- relatedly relatively, I mean, not relatively, relatively, we earlier saw Ricochet slammed his head onto the mat, and according to Alvarez, it was immediately cleared that Ricochet should have been pulled from the match and checked out for a concussion. However, the high flying WWE star finished finished out the match. I've and then this is what Alvarez had to say right here. Say, I've seen a million Ricochet matches, and he does not miss stuff. And he is not slow, Alvarez said. From from that point forward, for a good 3 or 4 minutes, he's slow, and everything is not Ricochet level. And it was clear this guy was messed up, but they let him work the entire match. Like, both both agreed that Ricochet's condition had seemed to improve after the commercial break. And it said, with the wrestlers likely having a minute or two to recover, there was some confession at the end of the bout. Ricochet kicked out while the ref still counted to three, but yet it was not yet cleared if that was a planned angle or a mistake on someone's part. And yeah, I never thought of that. Like, I did notice that Ricochet landed hard on his head, and I even made a joke about that. Hopefully, I'm saying joke about like his bald head, but hopefully I didn't offend him in a way. Whether if it's making a joke out of his bald head, or the fact that he possibly got injured by landing his head first when he was trying to hit a Hurricane Rana, a planned spot Hurricane Rana on Ivar. But anyways, yeah, but seriously, that looks serious. The injury part did, but I was being funny about the bald headed part, but not the serious injury, because nobody does not deserve to be injured. Like, even if you're the most hated guy in professional wrestling, like, at the end of the day, you're just doing that just to make a living off of. Like, it's not like you're trying to really be evil. Like, when you're not trying to be close to that category. But he's not even the most evil, and he's not the most evil guy, let alone the most hated guy in all of professional wrestling. Like if anything, the total opposite is the fan favorite babyface that he is. But anyways, he hopefully get a fast and speedy recovery. And yeah, I even thought I'm not sure if this is planned or not, but like, I think I even mentioned that. Like, I'm not sure if this is planned or not. Like, but the referee just count like 1, 2. I'm just going to count like 3. which I think that was probably just a shoot. I'm not sure if The Miz was supposed to win. Maybe so. I'll say between him or Ivar. I was thinking like, I think either him or Ivar are going to win, but I think considering that Ricochet possibly sustained a concussion injury, they they probably had some other plans in mind, with maybe we'll probably see we'll have Ivar pin Ricochet, but and then Bronson Reed gets pinned by The Miz to see if he's gonna win, and then he hits him with the surprise roll up while Ivar try to pins Ricochet while Ricochet gets the shoulders up, which I mean see if Ricochet gets the pin, but he gets the shoulders up but yeah. But what do you think about but before I say that, but yeah, like I'm not saying that the Miz is not supposed to win, which he could have, still was the plan. He was the guy that was planned to be Gunther's IC champion opponent, and it's been reported that he still will be facing Gunther 2 weeks from the Saturday, despite getting brutally assaulted by Ivar. When he when with the sore loser Ivar, well in kayfabe of course, not in real life. Like he was just playing a heel gimmick, and he was just doing that because he was very frustrated that it wasn't him to get the pinfall victory, unlike the Miz. But reality was that he didn't got the win like the A-lister did, and he's gonna earn himself an opportunity for the IC. Maybe it was the plan because considering that he was in the feud anyways with Gunther, and this could be possibly his perfect ticket on his way of facing the ring general but I don't know what it is. Like, I think possibly the double pin spot probably wasn't, or this could be the other option. Like the the double pin spot probably wasn't playing, and the Miz was supposed to probably hit the surprise roll up with someone like an Ivar or a Bronson Reed anyways. But Ivar happened to be there by hitting the moonsault. But either way, what do you think what's supposed to be the planned spot? And do you think this was planned or not? With the referee being confused who to count for? Or they did a really good job making it like a shoot, but it's actually a work. Like, other than Ricochet's injury, because that looked really bad. Like, it looks like he had a concussion, hitting his head right onto. Even though it looked like he still worked on the match, but he looked like he was like they said, 5 times slower than he would be in a match. But anyways, yeah. Either way, y'all let me know. Give me y'all's opinions in the comment section right down below, and also, either way, we'll see some kind of an angle between Ivar and The Miz, with Ivar getting very pissed off and he wants a match against the A-lister, which we possibly will see something like that next Monday on Raw, which I will do a part 14 review of Monday Night Raw. Okay, up next we got some more news now is about a former WWE. I mean, not former. Why a WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash says fans are wrong about MJF, the AEW champ MJF, I should say. MJF competing against Kenny Omega on AEW Collision was seen as a dream match in eyes of most fans, but the show only brought in an average of 500 518,000 viewers against the World Series, and it says right here, while this was seen as a disappointment by some, WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash defended the AEW World Champion in his overall ability as a draw. I and, and this is what Kevin Nash had to say on his Click This podcast, saying, I was thinking they still did they did a series. And then in the next paragraph, the guy goes, it was the least viewed World Series game ever. They've always got something. Professional wrestling competing against sports is always tricky, considering that the wider popularity. That live sporting event, tends to bring. Adding a big match like MJF versus Omega was something that could have been seen as strong competition against the World Series. But with AEW only giving it a few days worth of build, it was not giving the full push that it could have happened. However, on AEW Dynamite last week, the show was able to gamer an average of 832,000 views, which was a 7% rise overall, while the important 18 to 49 demographic saw a 14% rise. MJF played a big part in the entire night, as he was in the opening segment backstage to tease the main event, and the entire show ended up being built around him finding tag team partners, proving there is an interest in him as a character, showcasing the importance of build and the fact he can be a draw. But yeah, like MJF last week recently draw in like over 800,000 viewers with AEW in the main event against the Bullet Club Gold against him and the Acclaim. But yeah, I think it was probably because of the World Series, because most people in this country are more of a sports fan, like whether it be in baseball, football, basketball, more than a wrestling fan. And yeah, that was most likely the reason. And I believe on that episode of Dynamite is because the World Series probably wasn't on. I don't know for sure. I would be watching. I know the day before on Halloween, I remember a couple of residential neighbors in the neighborhood that my nephew was trick-or-treating at. They were watching the World Series, whether if it was outdoors in their house or even inside their house. Like they were watching the World Series, because most of them were baseball fans, of course. I was like, so I would say like if they were on the same night, I'll be like, oh bother, and even the old body, like it's not gonna be easy for AEW. Like they're gonna get a little lower views like they would usually do, and that was the case. But I think it was maybe a little bit double times worse. Like even my mother will even say that. Like she'll be like, yeah. Like people who are mostly sports fans, and she would agree with Kevin Nash on the statement, like me right now, because that's logical sense. Because that's logical sense. Like it's not the fact that AEW is getting worse or they should have saved this match at a pay-per-view. Well, like they possibly will save a dream match like this at a pay-per-view. Like what if it being Revolution or Double or Nothing? Like this is the main event pay-per-view worthy, but they weren't doing this just because it was the dream match, even though it was partially the case, but not entirely. Otherwise, they would have, if they had plenty of time to make this into a pay-per-view, like Revolution, for an example, like then they would have saved it till then. But they had to do it because MJF was on his way of beating Kenny Omega's longest reign as AEW champion. They had to do something like to see who's gonna walk out as AEW on a week from this past Saturday edition of AEW Collision as the All Elite Wrestling Triple B Championship. Triple B strap, I should say. But most likely the AEW World Champion because Kenny Omega nearly held that title for a year until he dropped and lost the title to Hangman Adam Page at Full Gear in 2021. And MJF held it for Full Gear in 2022, beating Jon Moxley. Held that title to this day. But Jay White stole the championship, and it looks like MJF's going to have to beat him and have a long year as All Elite Wrestling World Champion. The only way he's going to get that title back. But do you think MJF's going to regain his, or not regain, more like steal his title back, or more likely get his title back when he beats down the Switchblade and become the longest and properly celebrate being the longest reigning AEW champion without anybody stealing it unless they beat him for it? But it looks like he's not going to be losing it anytime soon. Whether if he faced the likes of Daniel Garcia, Jay White, anybody, unless it's an Adam Cole or a Wardlow or even a Samoa Joe. But yeah, what do you think about my opinion, and most importantly, what's his name's opinion, Kevin Nash's opinion on that time from the week from this past Saturday from at Full Gear, like before Halloween, like before MJF surpassed Kenny Omega's reign, which he did. So Kenny Omega did his best of trying to remain as the longest reigning All Elite Wrestling World Champion, but I think it was something that cost him to get the something that's out of control for MJF to get the advantage. Like he was way too much for him, I guess, to describe what's the reason why he lost the match. Just like he tried to do everything he can, even doing the one-winged angel, a surprise roll-up. But MJF, and even a surprise roll-up, he still kicked out 2.999. Like I said, I even admitted that was very shocking because it looked like he could have possibly beaten MJF for the AEW World Championship. AEW did a really good job capitalizing onto this angle, like successfully, like Simon Miller would say, like he would he said, I guess was shockingly the most shocking surprise roll up near fall that I have ever seen in professional wrestling. But okay, we're gonna move on to the other news now. Is backstage update on WWE's reported interest in Stardom talent Julia. And it said 2024 already promised to be a big year for talent movement, I should say, with names like AEW World Champion MJF and even IWGP UK champion UK champion Will Ospreay and Drew McIntyre said to be available, and it appears the movement will exist to talent in Stardom, as reported in get like emerged yesterday, that WWE was not only a, a Italian slash Japanese talent uh, would be appearing at the WWE Performance Center for a tryout next month. Signing a deal was close, and as it turns out, it's not quite that close. On this morning's Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer clarified that Julia was under contract with Stardom until March, and thus no deal with WWE or any other promotion could have could happen till then. Those within WWE have have also indicated that no performance center tryout is in the cards for Julia at the moment, of course, as as Bush as Bushy Road Stardom's parent company would have to grant permission for such a occurrence despite that, or not the despite that the occurrence despite that. It says right here, the interest in Julia is real from the WWE side, with the promotion supposed supposed was supposed to was supposed to, the supposedly having their eye on their former world of world of stardom champion World of Stardom champion since 2019. Shortly after she arrived, the the interest isn't exclusive to WWE. However, in it's believed with a D that Julia will have several so some sold to suitors, I should say, have several suitors between Japan and the United States, saying, vying for her another point of interest is that Julia has a verbal comment in Japan for after the end of her contract in March. March the March thought. March though would it would not prevent her from signing a deal elsewhere. Julia will be seen in the United States before then, as she is scheduled for New Japan's Battle in the Valley in San Jose is in January, with 2 months to go before the event. Her opponent is currently unknown. And what do you think about the current IWGP, not IWGP, the current New Japan Strong Women's Champion? And I heard about, and the first time I heard about this girl, like in, I'd say, like with me paying attention of anything in pro wrestling, was Julia. Like when she won the championship from was the AEW's Willow Nightingale, because Willow Nightingale won this in the tournament, and I believe was resurgent with her being in the finals, beating this girl from Stardom, like the Japanese girl from Stardom. I forget her name. While Mercedes Monet beat this this Mexican wrestler, women's wrestler from CMLL into the semifinals, which was like, which her name was Stephanie. I forget their last name, but it was Stephanie something. But anyways, it was Willow and Mercedes Monet, which I heard that it was supposed to be Mercedes Monet, but she injured her ankle, I believe, when they showed the clip. Well, I saw this on the recap on the clip from a fellow YouTuber. Like she hit a hot shot off the top rope because she was stumbling. So, like she was trying to hit a top rope meteor, I believe, and she hit a hot shot right on the Willow onto the outside on the apron. But I think she hurt her leg in the process. She had to get carried out of there at the end of the match when Willow won the match. And she held the title for like a good month or two until losing it to this girl that WWE has interest on since 2019. But what do you think about this story? What do you think about about WWE being interested in Julia? And do you think she's WWE material? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. I'm not sure if I heard anything back in 2019. I was watching everything pro wrestling all over YouTube, like especially wrestling news. Maybe I wasn't really paying attention. Maybe I heard a couple people from New Japan, but it was like not like wrestlers that I already knew from WWE. Like I was. That's why I probably wasn't really paying attention. Like they weren't WWE or AEW wrestlers. Like I remember like they showed the return of John Morrison, like and also wrestlers being on AEW with the likes of Jake Hager, John Moxley, and even who else was there from WWE? Oh yeah, Ty Dillinger, which he's going by Sean Spears now. But yeah, y'all let me know down in the comments below for those Stardom or NJPW fans. Like, are y'all ready to see Julia being in WWE along with the likes of possibly Will Ospreay and also what's his name? And also MJF whenever he loses his title, which I believe he possibly the latest will be at the end of December that he will lose his AEW World Championship. And okay, we got some collision reports now we got some AEW ratings viewership reports on this latest edition of AEW Collision, which came right after Crown Jewel. It says featured a tag team main event pitting STR, STR, and La Falcon in Goldberg Noble against Ricky Starks, Big Bill, the AEW Tag Team Championships, aka in the Gates of Agony. Despite including matches from Darby Allin and the Acclaim and Swerve Strickland as well, Saturday's Collision saw a drop from the previous week. According with WrestleNomics, reporting 330, 36600 viewers average viewers, I should say, 366 viewers, advantage viewer for the show. That's a loss of 106,000 compared to the ratings of last week's Collision, which had MJF defending the AEW World Championship against Kenny Omega in the main event. And it says right here, as for the 18 to 49 demographic, Saturday's episode brought in 116,000 viewers on average for a 0.09 rating. That's that's another drop from the previous week, which had 0.13 in the previous 18 to 39 demo. The most recent episode brought in the third lowest overall viewership for Collision since its debut. And it says right here, in the second lowest P18 to 49 demographic rating, the episode of Collision that did lower than the most recent episode both went head to head against a WWE PLE, while WWE Crown Jewel did take place in this past Saturday. It emanated from Saudi Arabia, meaning it occurred earlier in the afternoon. The highest quarter hour for overall viewership this past Saturday was the opening 15 minutes, consisting primarily of the match between Strickland and AR Fox. It was the 9 p.m. Eastern slot that drew the most viewers from the 18 to 49. However, that segment featured the Acclaim and Billy Gunn taking on Dalton Castle and the Boys, as well as the beginning of Mark Briscoe and Keith Lee and Dustin Rhodes versus Kip Sabian and the Workhorsemen. What do you think about this lower viewership from this past Saturday at AEW Collision, getting up to 366,000 views? And do you think this is a total downgrade? The casual wrestling fans we're not really interested in the wrestling product this week on this Saturday's week, or do you think it's because everybody's had a late start watching Crown Jewel, even though it was already been on since like the noon, even though it's been on since the noon of the day. It was on since noon, or even 11 a.m. or even 10, or I'll say not 10, I'll say 9 a.m. I believe, yeah. I believe it was on noon Eastern, and I'll say 11 a.m. Central, and I would say 9 a.m. Pacific, which was on earlier, but people could possibly go watch it later in the evening, trying to make it more like traditional, like watching wrestling, like watching it in a traditional, like like in a traditional evening kind of way, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it was possibly like that, like with with them with excuse me with but yeah, it was possibly like that with Matt Riddle. I'm not Matt Riddle. I mean, not the Matt Riddle. I mean, with the matches like where everybody waiting till the evening just to make it traditional watching it during the evening. It'll be better watching it it'll be weird watching it in the morning or afternoon. Like, or they were too busy or sleep in the afternoon. Like most people would probably be on a Saturday morning and afternoon. But anyways, yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think about this lower viewership from the from AEW's Collision since being making their debut on Saturdays. Down in the comments below, we're gonna move on to some Omos news about WWE's Omos on how his basketball pass helps him, and this is what is and says he's the attraction of the show. And it says right here, WWE superstar Omos is one of the many wrestlers who com- competed in other sports before making the leap to the squared circle. Before joining WWE, the Nigerian Giant was a college basketball prospect who played for the South Florida Bulls before transferring the Morgan State Bears. Despite changing careers, however, Omar's experience on the court has helped him adjust to the WWE lifestyle. According to Omos, back basketball and wrestling both require performers to be fit, healthy, focused, and on their games. As such, he was able to carry some valuable lessons from his college days into his WWE career. Just that experience of being tough and an exact in executing whatever you're going through. Almost told ABC Action News just the drills they put us through to to get ready for basketball session or not session season. I'm so bad at this. I need my glasses. Anyway, season. It gave me the intensity that I needed for the business that I am in today. And and this is what Omos had to say. Like, since joining WWE, Omos, or not what he said, this is what it says. And since joining WWE, Omos has the this distinguishing distinguished distinguished himself as an attraction who faced Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 39. Excuse me. The superstar towers above the majority of his peers. After all, and he knows that he has a unique appeal in the current sports entertainment landscape. But I'll say, I don't see anything about his interview, but what do you think about Omos? Like, Omos thinking of the similarities of his basketball days because he used to play for college. I remember that. I remember hearing that he used to play for South Florida, about 11 years ago, and then he played and he transferred to another basketball team until getting the and until he transitioning to pro wrestling a few years later, and then WWE signing him in 2019 and being at the Performance Center with the likes of with Michi and Mia Yim, Damian Priest, Matt Riddle, and Keith Lee, and much more. Being the guys that are signees of 2019's WWE wrestlers. But once again, what do you think? What do you think about this? What do you think about this? About Omos, being in WWE, known as the Nigerian Giant, all thanks to his basketball career. Y'all let me know down in the comments below. We're gonna move on to some more Eric Bischoff criticism of AEW news now, as Eric Bischoff explains why he's so hard on Tony Khan and AEW, which he has an explanation this time of his criticism with Tony Khan and his promotion, to be the exact. And it says right here, when it comes to AEW, one of the most critical voice over the last several years has been Eric Bischoff. Yeah, obviously. Everybody knows that. But anyways, however, the former WWE producer recently stated that his critiques are more than just blind negativity. Speaking on the Strictly Business podcast, Eric Bischoff took an opportunity to further explain his perspective on the promotion. And this is what he had to say. There's nothing that I can say that I haven't been saying for 2 years, Bischoff said. It's the same issue. It's the same issues over and over and over and over and over again. I can't talk about storytelling anymore than I always have for the last 2 years. Bischoff clarified that his options have nothing to do with AEW not offering him a position with the company, as he said he has no desire to work in wrestling in this stage in his life. Of course, the former WCW executive executive admitted that he can be harsh on AEW, but it's because he doesn't like seeing that opportunity wasted with his tenure at WCW, giving him a unique view of the matter. And it says, he said this is going to be considered to be negative, but it's not meant to be. It's just honest. It's just honest. It's just honest. It's just honest, said Eric Bischoff. Tony Khan is in such a unique situation. He has his own money. He's got more money than he can spend in his next three lifetimes, and he's a massive wrestling fan. So he has this unique opportunity to launch the company called AEW with his own money, which means he's not accountable to anybody except for the network. While the word has been been that Warner Bros. Discovery is quite happy with AEW's performance. Eric Bischoff cited the declining ratings in attendance figures as reasons why he worries of AEW's future is if AEW were to be under Bischoff, fears that it be a long time before another wrestling promotion rises to that level. And what do you think about Eric Bischoff's explanation why he does not like what AEW's been bringing and they haven't been doing anything storytelling for the past 2 years, and also like he wouldn't not trying to get an offer of a position from AEW or any wrestling promotion at this moment, even WWE at this point. But I would say I would agree on one thing. Like they're doing exactly what Warner Bros. Discovery wants them to do, and that's what's probably declining the few ratings into the viewership because AEW's stricted and restricted rules of AEW's content, and that's probably the reason why Eric Bischoff does not like, because Warner Bros. Discovery is happy that AEW's content is doing exactly what they wanted it to do, even though it's bringing the likes of Eric Bischoff to criticize and also the fans to not really watch it because it's probably not their cup of tea or it's probably not storytelling. But I try to look at the positive side of things, like even if there is something negative about AEW, but there's nothing that I hate about it. Otherwise, I'll partially would not be watching it right now and not be making AEW content like for the SNA podcast, of course. So I'll say that's one of the reasons why I'll watch it, because I'm trying to make content into pro wrestling. But two, I'm also a fan of AEW, and I just look at the positive side of things, like I should as a professional wrestling journalist, I should say. Like I'm trying to get on my way to be a professional journalist of trying to make this more of a popular content, like is the SNA podcast wrestling content, like along with some other content as a journalist, like whether it's sports or animation, movies, you name it. Yeah, like I'm trying to make it more like if anything that has anything that's what's my preferences and my favorite topics to talk about. Like I want to talk about right here. But anyways, and speaking of talking about more stuff, we're gonna talk about I think Eric Bischoff may have some points of the matter, but about AEW, like when it comes to their tasteless mid-card matches that are like toilet breaks, but there's very few of those though. Like, and I don't think it has anything to do with Tony Khan's money that he'll try to make it better. Like, only just for the fact to bring in some interesting and entertaining wrestlers, like into the company, like and not trying to make this a show that fans do not want to see. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think about what Eric Bischoff thinks about the company in the comment section right down below. And also, I'm gonna move on to the next news now, is why Bully Ray says there is no way in hell LA Knight would have won at WWE Crown Jewel. And he might be right on one thing about that, for the simple fact that Roman Reigns is the undisputed champion right now, and they're trying to have him hold that title at least until WrestleMania 40. And it says right here, according to this article, Bully Ray has explained why there was a little chance of LA Knight dethroning Roman Reigns as the undisputed WWE champion at Crown Jewel. While analyzing this past Saturday's premium live event on the Busted Open Radio, the tag team legend stated that, Crown Jewel is aching to a live event for WWE, which is one reason why he thought uh, a historic title change like LA Knight beating Roman Reigns to end his 1100 plus day reign wouldn't happen. And it says right here, according to his latest edition of the Busted Open Radio of analyzing the Crown Jewel event, this is what Bully Ray had to say. Like, I thought it was a good show. When it comes to Crown Jewel, you have to understand what it is. It is a glorified live event, a glorified house show. You're only going to get so much. Said the WWE Hall of Famer and Impact Hall of Famer. The main event everybody was talking about, LA Knight and Roman Reigns. People saying Knight's going to win. LA Knight's going to win. Come on, folks. If you really would look at this the correct way, there's no way in hell WWE was going to put the championship on LA Knight. After praising the pre-match package that WWE aired for the match between Knight and Reigns, Ray mentioned how WWE highlighted the package that Reigns' current undisputed universal title reign is one of the longest world title reigns in WWE history, behind Bruno Sammartino in his two title reigns, and Hulk Hogan, perhaps hinting that the Tribal Chief may surpass their records. And it says right here, Knight has become one of the most popular baby faces in WWE, perhaps second only to Cody Rhodes, which those are the two top baby faces MJF love watching in WWE mainly. And if he decides to join WWE, sign a contract, possibly the higher offer, if WWE can get the higher offer over AEW, I bet he possibly will, and he'll probably be in dream matches with his best friend, Roller Coaster Cody Rhodes, and also LA Knight, which will possibly will see him in a promo battle with him trying to manipulate and trying to convince Cody Rhodes or somebody like a top babyface of being his friend, which Cody Rhodes would not be sure because he stabbed him in the back before, back 5 years previously. And he won't, but he probably wouldn't trust him at first until he do something that's so unselfish to the point that he have no choice but to be friends with this guy. But until then, I'm not sure if Roller Coaster Cody should be trusting this guy genuinely. But anyways, LA Knight would probably be like, you may have everybody fooled here in WWE, but not LA Knight here, or whatever he will say. It'll be similar to Stage Creators. Action figure promo battle with the action figure LA Knight and the action figure MJF. Like, yeah, this is a shout out to you, Nathan, Stage Creator. Hopefully you are watching this right here, right now. But anyways, what do you guys think about? But anyway, top babyface. Perhaps or the second, but and recovered, receive a huge ovation from the crowd in Saudi Arabia on Saturday, despite Knight landing the BFT on to Roman Reigns. Like Jimmy Uso, I got the win after landing a spear following like some distraction by both Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso. Mostly with Jimmy Uso putting the leg onto Roman Reigns and dragging him out of the ring. Like I recapped from this past Saturday. Make sure you check that out. Which is my fourth ever premium live event review, which is the Crown Jewel review, of course. That's already on here from the SNA podcast from back November 4th. But anyways, we're gonna talk about what do you think about Bully Ray believing that Roman Reigns had this the whole time? Like it's like a house show. You're gonna have your good moments with your favorite baby faces, and then if they're not planning on winning the championship and the heel champion retains, that's what's going to happen at the end of the match, which I figured that was going to happen. Roman Reigns going to retain, whether some outside distractions or DQ finish like with a heel like Jimmy Uso, or even a heel a heel wrestler in general from WWE that does not have anything to do with Roman Reigns, which that didn't happen. That obviously never happened. But we're gonna like it was Jimmy Uso that was a distraction, what made LA Knight lost his focus and lost his title match against the Tribal Chief. But anyways, like we're gonna move on to the next news now. We got some Mark Henry sharing his 2 cents from the exact same Busted Open podcast on why Mark Henry says Crown Jewel 2023 main event outcome is a big deal. And we got some more Crown Jewel review news now as from the World's Strongest Man side thing. We got some more Crown Jewel review news from about the main event from Busted Open Radio. This time from Bully Ray's co-host Mark Henry, the World's Strongest Man. Even LA Knight comes up short in the quest to dethrone the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns at WWE Crown Jewel 2023. But Mark Henry believed it was important to consider the way Roman Reigns won the match, as has been the case with most of Roman Reigns' title defenses over the past few years. The Tribal Chief required assistance from the bloodline to put away Knight, an outcome that Henry bodes well for the future of Knight. And it says right here, according to the Busted Open Radio, I mean, this is what Henry had to say. It's like, well, Roman Reigns win the match without interference. Like Henry asked on the Busted Open Radio, which he didn't wasn't no interference. It's just LA Knight was distracted by Jimmy Uso. Like I expected to be some interference, like with the reason why LA Knight did not win. So none of these men got buried. But anyways, it says right here, reviewing Crown Jewel, the way it was presented, Roman wouldn't have won that match if there wasn't interference. He needed help to beat LA Knight. That is big, y'all. Like Henry then praised Knight for holding his own first ever main event match, especially while going up against a man he considers the Michael Jordan like equal equiv, equivalent. I'll say equivalent. He considers like a man that he considers the Michael Jordan equivalent to pro wrestling. Like he said, you can't you can't talk about elite pro wrestling without mentioning Roman Reigns. Mark Henry stressed. You you just can't. If you do, you're hating. You're hating. If I have Roman Reigns as my bail cow, he'd do exactly what the hell he's doing. He would show up, point the finger in the air, direct some stuff, tell the people where to go, and then I would take his ass back to his hotel in a limo because if he gets injured, the pay-per-views are over with, and the ratings dive. That's how powerful he is. This says right here. Mark Henry noted that rather have Reigns wrestle five to ten times a year due to the value he brings to WWE programming his during his every appearance. As such, Henry is perfectly fine with the undisputed WWE Universal Champions part-time schedule. Roman Reigns has become the modern day Andre. He's an attention. Mark Henry added. According to several reports, Roman Reigns is unlikely to wrestle a match before the 2024 Royal Rumble. And what do you think about this high praise from the world's strongest man onto the tribal chief? And do you think he's a ratings draw? Like every time he's on a premium live event on TV, like making a SmackDown appearance, for an example. Like y'all, let me know down in the comments below. I would say he's not entirely a ratings draw, like on my opinion, of course, but I think he is one of the guys that gets everybody's attentions, like of watching a match and seeing who's gonna try to attempt to dethrone him for the undisputed championship, but failing to do so. Whether if he cheats to win or just an easy squash match or even a one-on-one bout, like making it a fair fight. And I gotta admit that LA Knight versus Roman Reigns match was mostly fair fought. With Jimmy Uso cheating and put his leg on the ropes, that's besides that point. Like other than that, like if LA Knight wasn't distracted by that, you would have had a chance. But it had a 50-50 chance of beating him. But Roman Reigns managed to get the win. Superman punching him from the outside, I should say. Hit him with a spear. 1, 2, 3. Still the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. But yeah, y'all let me know what you think in the comment section right down below. I think it was a well thought out match, and I would say it was very entertaining. Like I was seeing, like, can LA Knight could do it. He showed halfway that he could have won, like especially if it had been for outside interference. But besides all that, like I think LA Knight was the bet was the guy that took Roman Reigns over the limit, like second to Cody Rhodes, of course, if not third, which next to Roman Reigns' own cousin, Jey Uso. But that depends on that. But I'll say they like all three of them were so close to winning. I'll say maybe even Sami Zayn too. Like make that 4. But anyways, yeah, he only defended the title like 5 times out of the year, which that's kind of a very concerning. That's a very concerning situation for the fact that, like, if you're trying to be a champion, I think you should be doing it full time. It's a full time job because that's your main attentions are on is being champion and showing your and making your point of defending it like whenever when it's needed. But yeah, let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section right down below. We're gonna move on to the next news now. Is EC3 talks about what it means to be to him to be the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, and it says right here, EC3 won the NWA World Heavyweight Championship at the company's 75th anniversary show, and he's taking the honor seriously. In a interview with the Toronto Sun, the former WWE superstar explained that he's grateful for Corgan trusting him as the face of the company, and they're both on the same page regarding its future. And it says right here, the fact that a man of that stature and that stature and in Ca- in Cala in K in caliber and the caliber, I should say, the stature and caliber, has the faith and trust in me to put his championship on me, and B, put me in the position to win it because I won it because wrestling is real, but also to be part of a brand vision we both kind of share. EC3 said, we have the same vision that kind of met in different ways with what I wanted to do with who I am, what he wants to do with the NWA, and how when I started to that maybe didn't work out the way it was supposed to do. It worked out perfectly because it put me in the position to be a part of this. Moreover, EC3 sees the title reign as a comeback of sorts. During the interview, he discussed the internet trying to cancel him by making up lies and facing criticism for his Control Your Narrative promotion, which received flake for booking controversial wrestlers like Austin Aries. EC3 claims these situations cost him financially and led to some people not wanting to work with him anymore. Of course, with that in mind, he's grateful to represent the NWA at the highest level. And what do you think about these comments from EC3, aka the current National Wrestling Alliance World Heavyweight Champion? Which, yeah, there is that. You have your occasional haters and criticizers, I should say, or critics, I should say, which I don't say criticizer is not even a word. I should say critics, I should say. Now you will have your occasional haters and critics of trying to bring you down and being jealous of you on why and saying does why you're having a success and how you could be so lucky and then say and what you could say that you're blessed or you can say that you're blessed or lucky that that you're and you can be a big star because of a decade of hard work like brought me into this position because I learned the knowledge while I was on my way to being this in-ring squared circle success story. Like maybe if you learn a thing or two from me, like from being inspired by guys like me or anybody that you're inspired being inspired from whoever other wrestler you're inspired from of being a successful in the squared circle, like you probably will understand. And it's not because he got it easy. He had it easy, right? He had a passion in pro wrestling. He stick to it for the past decade, and that's why he's getting the success that he's getting. But yeah, thanks to these critics, like some of these wrestlers and some of these wrestlers and promoters do not want to work with him because of the with these stories that are untrue and them lying on him just to have to see him bring him down and not ever be a successful in-ring competitor or even let alone a future successful wrestling promoter ever again. But yeah, let me know all about that in the comment section right down below. But anyway, we're going to move on to the next news story, which is Paul White says this current AEW wrestler is the most modern day AEW modern day Ric Flairs he's seen. And it says right here, Paul White has compared MJF to Hall of Famer Ric Flair, calling the salt of the earth the closest thing the Nature Boy in modern wrestling. White made the comparison during his recent appearance on T95, the Rock Station, like stating that MJF has several qualities that make him stand out. He highlighted how MJF's ability to know what work is similar to that on Ric Flair, on another Hall of Famer, Rowdy Piper. And it says right here, when I look at MJF because MJF is naturally cocky. You know he's a hard worker. He's got that swag to him. He understands performing. He was a child star on Broadway, so he's got some chops, got some talent, like says White, but he understands who he is. He understands what works. To me, there's only one Ric Flair, but I look at MJF. He's the most modern day Ric Flair that I've seen. There's a heel that get heat, and then there's a guy like Ric Flair that you hate him, but then at the same time, you can wait to see what they say next. Like Ric Flair, Roddy Piper, the veteran star believes MJF possesses a natural ability to draw people's interest even if he's a bad guy. White is, like I said, White is not the first person in the pro wrestling industry to draw parallel per, like parallels between Flair and MJF. The Nature Boy himself previously stated that the AEW World Champion is a lot like him, like in many ways. Well, what do you think about the Paul White's comparison of the Nature Boy and the Salt of the Earth? I'll say I would agree with many ways, especially him being the dirtiest heel into the industry. Like when he's a heel, he could play a very good and entertaining and dirty and dishonest the heel that he is. But when he's a babyface, he's more like a fan favorite. And he does it it is kind of similar in a way. I kind of agree with Paul White into that statement. Of course, like he's doing a really good job. He's doing a very good job, like doing that in into this he's doing a very good job being like a comparison of Ric Flair. But even though he's not trying to, he's just trying to be himself and be himself as the next self of MJF, like as the longest reigning AEW World Champion, the Salt of the Earth, the fans scumbag, like you name it, all that stuff. But yeah, you just couldn't help but notice the little details of his gimmick. But yeah, y'all let me know down in the comments below. I just think some of it, I'll say not entirely, but he could, like with him being the dirtiest player in the game, he could make it. Even if he tried to impersonate Ric Flair, he could possibly would make it work. With him considering being a good talker, just like the Nature Boy, onto his promo work. But yeah, we're gonna move on to the next news now. Is Kevin Nash suggests Game of Thrones it's cute a solution to AEW's problem with leaks. And it says right here, Dave Meltzer recently reported that some AEW wrestlers have been receiving their creative plans later than usual, leaving them frustrated with their lack of long-term creative direction. The report led to AEW executive Jerry Lynn blaming wrestlers and God knows who else for disclosing backstage affairs to dirt sheets and podcasters, stressing that people leaking information are doing damage to the producers. I mean, not to the to the product. I must be reading the wrong thing. Yeah, right here. To the product and in the industry. It says the strongly worked tweet from Lynn caused quite a stir within wrestling circle, and some advertising AEW CEO Tony Khan on measures he could take to avoid such mishaps. On the latest Click This podcast, WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash shared his 2 cents on the matter, asked Khan and others in, in AEW to adopt a Game of Thrones is skewed skewed strategy and and deli- and deliverable and di- and del- and deliberately deliberately leak false information to catch the culprit. It's real simple. I'm going to tell you guys how to do this. Nash said, like, you tell 2 or 3 people the wrong information, and and if it and if it effing gets out, you know who the rat is. It's like that's like booking 101. Sit people down and tell them, hey, I don't want I don't want this to get out, but this is what we're this is what we're back. Oh yeah, what am I doing? Like, and then like this 101, people sit down, people sit people down and tell them, hey, I don't want this getting out, but this is what we're doing. And if it gets out, we've only told 3 people. Guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Vala. Guess what? Vala or Vala. I guess what's called Vala. And it says previously the likes of Bruce Pritchard and Eric Bischoff have implied like that some within WWE used to purposely leak false information to Meltzer to stir the pot and pull a swerve by altering WWE's creative direction. Pritchard has even suggested that Meltzer has zero idea about the inner workings of WWE's creative team, and typically only hears bits and that there's bits and pieces of in buzzwords without knowing the true going on, the true going on. But what do you think about Kevin Nash's opinion about what AEW management should do to those who leak some secret plans of the wrestling show online, or even that anything that's planned that's going to spoil anything that spoiled the future plans of the wrestling shows, whether if it be in Dynamite, Rampage, or what's his name, or Dynamite, Rampage, or Collision. That's right. That's what their name is. Like, and do you think Jerry Lynn's right, or do you think that the wrestling insider guys all over the internet just knows the way to spy on know their ways of spying into the management in AEW or any wrestling promotion of the matter? Y'all let me know down in the comments below also on that. And also, I was like, yeah, maybe like for being a wrestling promoter, you should you should give them the firing threat. If you try to leak something online just to stir the pot with Dave Meltzer or any other wrestling journalists and critics, then you're gonna get the pink slip instantly, or immediately, or whatever you want to call it. Soon, another term for soon. But anyways, if I was me, I would be doing that. I would say if you leak anything out there that has anything to do with future plans in my wrestling promotion, before I do, if you announce it before I do, in a certain event, or if you announce it and if you or announce it online before I put it on the show, whatever the surprise may be or whatever plans that's going to be announced, I'm going to fire your ass, and I'm going to make sure that you're going to be banned for a very long time from my company, just because you just purposely leak something online. But if it was an accident, then I would give you a warning, but how you can accidentally leak something online, it just don't make any sense. But anyways, we're gonna move on to the next news now. It's some Corey Graves news on why being took place. Oh, excuse me. Had allergies in allergy season. Excuse me for a minute. Like why Corey Graves took being placed by Pat McAfee on WWE SmackDown personally. And it says right here, according to this article, in April of 2021, Pat McAfee replaced Corey Graves as Michael Cole's partner in the WWE SmackDown commentary booth, with Graves moving to the excuse me. It says with Graves moving to the Raw brand after the duo was disbanded due to Pat McAfee's joining ESPN's College Day panel, and Graves took it upon himself to constantly berate Pat McAfee every time the former NFL punter returned to WWE television, and it appears some of that tensions is legitimate. During the appearance on the Kurt Angle show, Graves admitted that he was a little bit upset when he found out he was being replaced by McAfee. He said, "I thought the world of Pat, like the world of Pat, like said Corey Graves clarified. He again is such a strong persona. It's easy for me to play off of and rib him and get under his skin. I was a little upset professionally that I found out like hey, you're going from Friday Night SmackDown on Fox, the network show that you kicked off with Michael Cole. I told it a little personally, not because of Pat, but it was sort of like I've paid my dues. Here I, the guy that shows up week after week. I'm the guy that did both Raw and SmackDown for 2 years straight. 2 years straight, never complained, and this is how you do me. And it says right here, Graves revealed that his wife WWE superstar Carmella had calmed him down after he blew a gasket about his replacement, but quickly reiterated that he had no beef with Pat McAfee, and said she talked to me off and alleged, and I had a few conversations with Michael Cole, with Cole, I should say. Gaves will recall to Michael Cole is my boss, therapist. So he talked me off the ledge as well. And looking back, it's business. It was a shock that I didn't see coming, but what I dealt with. It were all better off for it, I think. And what do you think about this confession from Corey Graves onto the Kurt Angle show? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And do you think do you think this was a fully legitimate of Corey Graves hating Pat McAfee because of it, or he just mad at the situation of WWE trying to replace Pat McAfee back in 2021, which he'd been doing 2 years straight as a commentator on both from 2019 to 2021 at the time, which I'll say there was probably no issue because you should be happy you're only doing commentary for one night because it'll be double tiring if you do it on Monday nights and go back and do it Friday nights. And besides, I think the brand should have their own personal commentators, like a couple each separately, of course, because too much of having the same wrestling commentators onto a brand splitted shows, two different brand split shows, will be a bit too much, for the fans and for the commentators themselves. So I would say it shouldn't be a bad thing. You should think of this as a blessing in disguise, even though he takes his commentary very seriously, and also he's happy of doing it. And this is his livelihood. But he should just settle down and step back. Even though he have no beef with Pat McAfee, even though he made jokes about him look like he have beef with Pat McAfee, replacing him in the past of being a commentator for SmackDown. But this was WWE's fault, not necessarily Pat McAfee's fault. But yeah, y'all let me know right down in the comments below. And I guess that's the end of this of the list of this videos. That's the end of this list of the wrestling news on this video of the latest episode of the SNA podcast, which is episode 10. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Which one of these wrestling news were your favorite one out of this list? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And also, if you like this video, make sure you give me a huge thumbs up, subscribe, click the bell notifications so you won't miss the upcoming wrestling news video, and make sure you check out my other videos from the past few weeks and a couple of months, onto this channel at Super Ninja Austin 213 and later on tonight I'm gonna be doing the NXT review video, and which will be the NXT review, which will be later on tonight, after NXT goes off the air. But yeah, I've been your host, Super Ninja Austin, on this video. This was the 110th video of the SNA podcast, and I'll see you all tonight, and hopefully you guys have a great afternoon, and I'll see you all later onto the NXT review. In the meantime, Super Ninja Austin, the assassin, is out. Bye-bye, my SNA fans.